Netra Bikram Chand-led Nepal Communist Party officially signed the three-point agreement yesterday. The former underground outfit has now stepped into mainstream politics as they can now serve the nation through ballot and not bullet. The hasty deal in the meantime has not gone down well with political analysts who smell of horse trading in the 4-day episode. Good morning, I'm Sarah Chitrakar and these are the headlines of the hour. The government and the Chand-led Nepal Communist Party officially inked the three-point agreement, leading to Chand Group's safe passage into mainstream politics. Dahal Nepal faction nominates Pushpa Kamal Dahal as the leader of the parliamentary party. NC undecided on supporting no confidence vote against the Prime Minister. The contribution of agriculture and industries dwindling in the country's economy. Economists interpret the scenario as a threat to the national economy. And UN Special Envoy on Myanmar urges the Security Council to act immediately as police continue open fire on protesters against last month's military coup, killing one man. The government security mechanism and the Netra Bikram Chand-led group, the former underground outfit, conducting violent activities with political agenda and had been confronting one another for the past 2 years. The government had imposed a ban on the group 2 years ago. Following some dramatic development, the government and the leaders of the group announced of coming together for peace and stability amid a function yesterday. More in this report. The security forces were deployed around the capital City Hall since early noon on Friday. Some cadres were waiting to enter the City Hall while the security forces looked relaxed, free from the mental ordeals, arrest and security threats. Meanwhile, Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli arrived at the program to publicize the agreement between the Netra Bikram Chand-led group and the government. Underground leader Netra Bikram Chand appeared in a vehicle behind Premier Oli. Chand, waving his hands, greeted everyone outside the hall, while Premier Oli held the hands of leader Chand, guiding him inside the program venue. The cadres of the Netra Bikram Chand-led group, who used to dread the security forces, were anxiously waiting outside to listen to their leader and the Prime Minister's address. Meanwhile, Dharmendra Bastola, who was among the leaders arrested and released by the state several times, directly arrived at the program venue from police detention. Bastola, addressing the function, indicated towards joining Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli in the peaceful political journey. Meanwhile, the Chand outfit has not opened up regarding weapons, while the issue has not been mentioned in the three-point agreement, which, according to analysts, might pose issues later on. The NCP's Dahal Nepal faction has nominated Pushpa Kamal Dahal as the leader of the parliamentary party. Chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal was elected as the leader of the parliamentary party following the dissolution of the House of Representatives. However, Dahal has been re-elected as the leader of the parliamentary party, saying that the earlier decision would have been deemed invalid in the event of the dissolution of the lower house. The meeting passed the proposal of leader Madhav Kumar Nepal and seconded by leader Pampha Bhushal. Meanwhile, the Dahal faction has removed Subhas Nemwang, the deputy leader of the parliamentary party, at a time when both the factions are taking action against leaders from the other group. Dahal and Nepal during the meeting lamented that Prime Minister Oli had refused to budge from his seat on moral grounds despite the restoration of the lower house. Likewise, the meeting of the parliamentary party has welcomed the decision of the Netra Bikram Chand group to join the mainstream politics. The meeting of the Nepali Congress parliamentary party has ended inconclusively. The meeting ended without headway despite 29 lawmakers expressing their views in the meeting called to take a decision on the no-confidence vote against the Prime Minister and the formation of the new government. The meeting was inconclusive even as majority of the parliamentarians pitched their opinion against supporting Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. Both the NCP factions are trying to win the confidence of Nepali Congress. The reinstate Parliament is scheduled to convene tomorrow at 4 p.m. The contribution of agriculture and industries has been dwindling in the country's economy in recent years. On the contrary, the service sector has an increasing role in the country's journey towards developing nation from underdeveloped nation. Economists have interpreted the scenario as a threat to the country's economy. Traditionally, it is seen that agriculture has the maximum contributions in the economy of the underdeveloped nations. The contribution of agriculture in the country's economy has put at 36% 2 decades ago, while the ratio has come down to 26% now. Economists, in the meantime, opine that the dwindling contribution of agriculture during a country's transition from underdeveloped to developing nation can be considered positive, provided that there is increasing contribution from industrial sector to the country's economic growth. However, the contribution from the economic sector too has been on the decreasing trend. In the past 10 years, the contribution of industrial sector in the national economy has registered a 16.25% downturn. Meanwhile, the service sectors such as hotels, transport, realtor market, banks, communication, among others, have contributed a great deal to the national economy in recent time. The contribution of the service sector in the national economy presently stands at 60%. Economists, however, maintain that there is no alternative to industrialization to minimize import and thereby stage a positive output to national economy. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked the participants in the ongoing literary festival in Janakpur what role should cities outside Kathmandu Valley play for the development of literature. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
भाषा साहित्यको विकासमा जति यहाँ जमर्को भएको छ त्यो जमर्को अरूले पनि चाल पाउनु पर्छ नेपालमा बस्नु भएको अरू दाजुभाइ दिदी बहिनीहरुले पनि चाल पाउनु पर्छ
मैथिली साहित्य होस् वा नेपाली साहित्य होस् त्यसप्रति चिन्तन र अभिरुचिहरु बिस्तारै बढ्दै जान्छ
जिल्लाको पहिचान मैथिली भाषाबाट नै भएको छ र जति यसको विकास हुनुपर्ने हो त्यसमा विकास हुन सकेको छैन
Time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. Here's the question: why has the contribution of industrial sector dwindled in the national economy? Your options are A, no industrial environment, B, no risk, no gain, and C, business oriented. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for our special segment, Media Watch.
The Office of the President issued a press statement on Monday stating that President Vidya Devi Bhandari had summoned the meeting of the House of Representatives for this coming Sunday. According to the press statement, the House meeting had been called at 4 p.m. on Sunday at the recommendation of the Cabinet. The Supreme Court had overturned the government decision to dissolve the House of Representatives by announcing its verdict on 23rd of February and ordered to call the meeting of the lower house within 13 days from the announcement of the verdict. The government and the Netra Bikram Chand-led Nepal Communist Party reached a 3-point agreement on Thursday, less than 48 hours after the two sides had formed their respective talk teams. Following several rounds of talks held since Tuesday morning, the Chand-led group agreed to seek solution to all political issues through dialogue and conduct political activities peacefully. The cabinet meeting held on Thursday evening also decided to lift the ban imposed on the underground outfit. Likewise, the government also agreed to release political prisoners of the group and dismiss cases against them. The government had banned the Chand-led group on 12th of March 2019 following series of bomb blasts carried out in the country. In the past 2 years, the group had killed 4 individuals while 7 cadres were killed in explosive-related incidents. Likewise, the state had also killed a cadre of the Chand-led group. A total of 2,072 cadres of the group have been arrested so far, while 133 are undergoing trial. The Pushpa Kamal Dahal Madhav Kumar Nepal faction of the Nepal Communist Party suspended 7 leaders of the KP Sharma Oli-led faction for 6 months, including deputy leader of the party's parliamentary party, Subhas Nemwang. The Central Committee meeting of the faction held on Wednesday removed the chief whip and whip of the Oli-led faction, citing that they had acted against the party's interest. Meanwhile, the Dahal Nepal faction appealed to the Federal Parliament Secretariat on Thursday to nullify Prime Minister Oli's activities in the name of leaders of the Parliament Secretariat. The Central Committee meeting of the Dahal Nepal faction had removed Premier Oli from the party on 3rd of February. The Dahal Nepal faction filed the document at the Federal Parliament Secretariat stating that Premier Oli's activities concerning leaders of the party would be unauthorized. This is Abhyuday Shrestha for Media Watch and Kantipur News Desk.
That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.